Thank you, Your Worship. We're live.
Thank you very much, Madam Deputy Clerk, and good morning, everybody. Beautiful sunny day here in Wasaga Beach. We'll call this meeting to order, and we'll start with our land acknowledgement. We begin our meeting recognizing the First Nations Métis and Inuit peoples of Canada as traditional stewards and caretakers of the land. We acknowledge that the town of Wasaga Beach is located within the boundaries of Treaty 18, the traditional lands of the Anishinaabe, the Haudenosaunee, Tionan-Tati, and Wendat peoples, and is the home of many First Nations, Métis, and Inuit peoples as part of an intricate nationhood that reaches across Turtle Island. At this time of truth and reconciliation, we welcome the opportunity to work together towards new understandings and new relationships and ask for guidance in all that we do. Under item number 2, we have proclamations. There are 2 proclamations there, and we do have a motion that Council proclaim April 14th to the 20th, 2024 as National Volunteer Week in the town of Wasaga Beach. Could I have a mover and a seconder, please? Moved by Deputy Mayor Snell, seconded by Councillor Timms. All in favor? That motion carries unanimously. Item number 2.2 is the National Accessibility Week, and we have a motion here that Council proclaim May 26th to June 1st, 2024 as National Accessibility Week in the town of Wasaga Beach. Mover and a seconder for this, please. Councillor White and Councillor Eagle, all in favor? That motion also carries unanimously. Moving on to item number 3, disclosure of pecuniary interest. I have none before me at this time. If at some point throughout the meeting a member feels they have a pecuniary interest, please let us know at that time. Under item number 4, adoption of the agenda, we have a motion that the contents of the agenda for April 25th, 2024 be approved as circulated. Mover and a seconder for this, please. Councillor Belanger and Councillor Eagle, all in favor? That motion carries unanimously. Moving on to item number 5, approval of the minutes. The motion that the minutes of the council meeting held April 11th, 2024 are hereby adopted as circulated. Any questions or comments on this? Seeing none, mover and a seconder, please. Councillor White and Deputy Mayor Snell, all in favor? That carries unanimously. Item number 6 is statutory public meetings. We have none today. And item number 7, presentations. There are no presentations today. And number 8, delegations. No delegations today. Item number 9 is government relations. CAO McNeil, are there any government relations or items that you wish to speak to or announce today? Seeing none? No? Thank you. Item number 10 then is staff reports. The following reports items have been pulled and moved to matters for consideration to be voted on separately. Item number 10.3, 10.7, 10.9, and 10.11. Are there any comments from council or staff on these reports? Councillor Eagle?
Thank you, Your Worship. I would just like to comment on 10.10, the sisters, the Explore the Sister City opportunities. And I wanted to thank the staff very much for this report. I know it's a, it's a community involvement project, so that's why I thought I'd like to speak to it. I support this report fully. I'm a huge believer in cultural exchanges, and I've had the fortune to be involved in a few in my lifetime, and I believe strongly that they should be volunteer and community-led. The ones I was involved in were true exchanges where, in our cases, we went to the high Arctic, and then the Inuit children came back to our homes. And throughout all our lives, and children I've spoken to that are now adults and grown up, the experiences that were experienced then were just huge values, and so I am a strong proponent of it, and I look forward to perhaps the day when this town, we will be able to have such exchanges, and service clubs help with them as well. So our kids have all been involved, and I think they'd be fabulous for a community, but just not right now. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor. Any other questions or comments? Deputy Mayor Snell.
Thank you, Your Worship. I just wanted to make a comment on 2 items. One is 10.5, and I just want to thank the staff for updating that policy to protect the taxpayers in regards to being able to bank vacation time. And I also wanted to comment as Councillor Ego on the Sister City piece, and I agree with the author and with Councillor Ego. I don't feel that there's any value for the taxpayers and potential duplication through other community organizations that potentially provide this service. Thank you.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor Snell. Any other questions or comments here? All right, seeing none, we do have a motion that the following consent list items under staff reports and all recommendations contained therein be adopted, excluding agenda items pulled from the motion and moved to matters for consideration to be voted on separately. Could I have a mover and a seconder for this, please? Councillor Ego and Councillor Timms, all in favor? That motion carries unanimously. Moving on to item number 11 on the agenda is correspondence. Correspondence items, we do have a motion that the council consent list items under correspondence be received for information except for correspondence moved to matters for consideration to be voted on separately. Any questions or comments here? Seeing none, could I have a mover and a seconder, please? Sorry, question, Councillor?
Sorry, Your Mayor, yes, I just have a short comment on, have you gone to, no, you haven't gone to 12, the minutes and committees.
No, we're not there yet.
Thank you.
All right. All right, could I have a mover and a seconder on this motion? Councillor White and Deputy Mayor Snell, all in favor? That motion carries unanimously. All right, moving on to item number 12, minutes and boards and committees. We have a motion that the consent list items under minutes and boards and committees be received for information except for minutes moved to matters for consideration to be voted on separately. Questions or comments here? Councillor Ego.
Go rapidly here. Yes, I have a quick comment from the Age-Friendly Committee, as that's the, I'm the council rep there. And so we had been speaking to a cardiac arrest program, and it's in the minutes there. And so I just want to say where we move forward on that, and I would like the community to know that the YMCA, that they do currently have a full cardiac rehab program. So through those meetings and that has come, and just as an aside, so the Y has that, but I want the residents to remember we have a great walking track in this town too, that certainly aids people recovering from health or just to keep your heart healthy. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Ego. Any other questions or comments? Seeing none, could I have a mover and a seconder for this, please? Councillor White and Deputy Mayor Snell, all in favor? That carries unanimously. And now on to item number 13, matters for consideration. We do have 4 items pulled. The first item is 10.3, snow removal financial assistance program, and I believe that was pulled by Councillor White. Councillor White?
Thank you, Your Worship. At this moment, I'd like to make a motion to defer this item until the next meeting of council. I believe that Councillor DeLeo is very passionate about this topic, and I'd really like to see her have the opportunity to speak to it. She is away on vacation currently and unable to attend, and I just want to make sure that I offer up this motion.
All right, Madam Clerk, motion for deferral, so there will be no debate, no questions or comments. Can you read that, please?
Yes, thank you, Your Worship. So the motion on the floor is to defer Report 10.3, Snow Removal Financial Assistance Program, Winter 2023 to 2024, to the next regular council meeting, May 16th, 2024. If I could get a mover, and we have a mover, Councillor White. If you could get a seconder, please, Your Worship.
Seconded by Deputy Mayor Snell. Sorry, 1 second. Okay, good. Thank you, Councillor. Okay, so be a recorded vote, Madam Clerk.
Thank you, Your Worship. Councillor Belanger.
In favor.
Councillor Ego.
In favor.
Deputy Mayor Snell.
In favor.
Councillor Timms.
In favor.
Councillor White.
In favor.
Mayor Smith.
In favor?
The motion to defer carries unanimously.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Moving on to item 10.7, Fire Department pumper purchase, and this has been pulled by Deputy Mayor Snell.
Thank you, Your Worship. I just wanted to, obviously this is a big ask of budget, but I just wanted to point out in the report, it does mention a 1% savings if purchased by a particular time, which is quite a short window. When we're looking at a $1.32 million purchase, that's about a $14,000 savings. So I just wanted to thank the author, Chief, in sort of finding that opportunity for taxpayers to save on this significant investment. And also as well, I appreciated in the report how both yourself and the Deputy Chief noted that in regards to changing requirements in terms of emission rates and whatnot with vehicles, I appreciated that you noted that you had done your due diligence to ensure that this vehicle would be up to requirement standards and so therefore would not require a retrofit after purchase. So I just wanted to make those two comments. Thank you.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor Snell. Any other questions or comments? Councillor Belanger?
Yes, thank you through the mayor. I'll ask for some clarification on this, but through the years, my understanding is that the standard or the recommendation on this type of equipment is to replace it every 20 years. And I think through different council meetings, we've extended that usage because of the amount of money required. So I just want to let the public know that, that a 25-year-old pumper truck is considered past its life expectancy, and we're trying to do whatever we can to ensure that we're using the taxpayers' money very wisely.
Thank you, Councillor. Any other questions or comments from council? Seeing none, sorry, no? Okay. Chief, did you wish to speak to this at all?
I'm happy to answer any further questions that might come up through the chair to Councillor Belanger's point. I do appreciate that. The reason why this pumper truck will be replaced in 2027 at 25 years old is because it is considered our extra truck, so it's not in service every day. This is one that gets put into service when one of our frontline pumpers are taken out of service for mechanical reasons. So that's the reason we've been able to extend this one a little bit longer. However, as of today, this pumper truck has 177,400 kilometers on it and 3,430 engine hours on it. So to your point, Councillor, it's ready for replacement, but it has served the community very well for the past, what will be 25 years by the time we get around to replacing it.
All right, thank you very much, Chief. There's no other questions or comments. I'll just note that I'm going to go back after I call this vote to item number 10, staff reports. Did you want to speak to your staff report, Chief?
Thank you, Your Worship. I had a previous discussion with the Deputy Mayor and did wish to highlight a few things on emergency preparedness, with your permission.
Oh, so we'll come back to that. I'll just let me get through this next motion and we'll come back to that. Thank you, Chief. All right, so the motion on the table here with respect to the 2027 Fire Department pumper purchase is that report titled 2027 Fire Department Pumper Purchase to the council meeting of April 25th, 2024 be received, and that council authorize the purchase of a new pumper truck from Commercial Emergency Equipment Company to be delivered in 2027 in the amount of $1,316,724 plus potential engine emissions related cost increases. That council approve a new reserve commitments for future purchases, and that council approve a transfer of $1,316,724 from the Capital Asset Replacement Reserve to the Commitments for Future Purchases Reserve, and that the mayor and clerk be authorized to execute the purchase agreement with Commercial Emergency Equipment Company, subject to technical review by the fire chief and financial review by the chief financial officer. No other questions or comments. Could I have a mover and a seconder for this, please? Moved by Councillor Ego, seconded by Councillor Belanger. All in favor? Oh, it's a recorded vote. Sorry, I thought I seen your hand. So moved by Councillor Ego, seconded by Councillor White. Madam Clerk?
Thank you, Your Worship. Councillor Belanger.
Favor?
Councillor Ego.
In favor.
Deputy Mayor Snell.
In favor?
Councillor Timms.
In favor?
Councillor White.
In favor?
Mayor Smith.
In favor.
Carries unanimously. Thank you, Your Worship.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. All right, we'll go back down to the Chief on his staff report if you want to move forward with that. Thank you, Chief.
Thank you, Your Worship, and to the members of council. Just a reminder for the community that the municipality is constantly looking at our state of emergency preparedness, and we invest a lot of time and money in not only preparing our first responders, but as well as the community for what potentially could happen in the future. So this upcoming Saturday, May the 4th, we have an exciting day planned where we're going to be inviting regional members of the first response group into our backyard for a full training day. So we have about a 5-hour scenario plan that's going to focus on wildfire and patient care. And some of the organizations that will be involved is the Canadian Armed Forces, obviously the Wasaga Beach Fire Department, as well as the Beausoleil First Nation Fire Department, Simcoe County Paramedics, OPP, Georgian Bay Search and Rescue, Simcoe County Emergency Management and Social Services, as well as the Simcoe Muskoka Health Unit. This will be a closed-off event, so it's not intended to be an attraction for the public, although we do appreciate that many members of the public will be interested in what's going on, and it's for that reason that in the afternoon on May the 4th from 3 till 7 p.m. we've created an emergency preparedness open house at our new arena and library. So this should be an excellent event. We're expecting several hundred people to come. We have about 18 information booths that are going to be set up inside the REMAX room, as well as we have a touch-a-truck area out in the parking lot, and we're hoping that for this free event to be a very family-oriented event where people can come and learn about locally what we've done to help protect themselves, and as well what they can do to protect their families should an emergency occur. And then forward to that, and continuing on the same theme, we have interest in the spread of wildfire, across Canada in the last couple of years, and we want to make sure that we are, as a community, preparing for any potential that could happen in our backyard. So in mid-June, we've scheduled now a tour of the provincial park along with our local superintendent and regional fire advisor to go through the largest sections of the Wasaga Beach Provincial Park to better understand what fuel load exists there and if there are any specific hazard areas that might need to be managed in the future. And then I'm happy to report that at the July 11th council meeting, we will have Ken Cox, who is the Southern Region Fire Advisor with Aviation, Forest Fire and Emergency Services with the Ministry of Natural Resource and Forestry, who will be joining us and providing an education session for members of council and speaking about the potential hazards of wildfire and the positive parts of wildfire as well. And it'll be an excellent opportunity for all of us to learn about what we can do as a community. Thank you, Your Worship.
Thank you very much, Chief. Any questions or comments for the Chief on this? Deputy Mayor Snell?
Thank you, Your Worship. I'm really excited about this event. I think it's going to be fantastic for the community, and especially, I know when my daughter was young, the ability to get in front of, vehicles like that, like a fire truck or a army truck or an ambulance, to be able to see not only just sort of piques curiosity, but maybe also supports future plans to join those organizations. And I think you bring up a great point. Just this morning, getting ready to come to the meeting, I overheard on the radio that there's currently over 150 wildfires between BC and Alberta. And these wildfires are still burning under the snow from last year. And as we see with climate change and more extreme weather and all of these different factors, the high winds simply that we've experienced in our community in the last 2 weeks alone, I think focusing on the fire, the forest fire component is very important to our community, and I really welcome the provincial rep coming and having a look, because not only will that help, in regards to safety for our community, but also to council's priority around beautification. Because as I drive past these forest areas, these provincial parks, just the derelict wood sitting all over the place isn't very sightly for our community either, and obviously concerns, especially with that much fuel system being potentially close to the road, whether it's a vehicle spark or somebody tosses a cigarette out the window. So I very much support all these efforts, and I'm really looking forward to the emergency preparedness event. And thank you for all your efforts and your staff's efforts in organizing that and hosting this in our community.
Thank you, Deputy Mishnell. Any other questions or comments? All right. We'll now move on to item number 10.9. Thank you, Chief, for that. 10.9 Doctor Recruitment Initiative. We have a motion that has been, is here, and this was pulled by Deputy Mayor Snell and Councillor Belanger. So Deputy Mayor Snell?
Thank you, Your Worship. So in regards to the doctor recruitment, very exciting news. Very, very grateful to see that there's further investment in our community and care for our residents. In the report, it mentions that a requirement will be a predominant number of Wasaga Beach residents being served by this doctor. And I'm just curious, what does that percentage look like to qualify as predominant, please?
Through your worship, I'd like to also provide additional comments as well prior to answering that question, if I may. Thank you. So I just wanted to state that staff is very excited about bringing this agreement forward to council on today's agenda, as this is a direct result of our doctor recruitment efforts. In the fall, council approved a revamp to our doctor recruitment incentives, and since then, oh, sorry. I thought I sounded kind of loud. Like that? Yeah? I don't do this often. Yeah, that's right. But since then, we have been advertising our offerings to potential family physicians. So our Deputy CAO, Jerry Marshall, and I actually met Dr. McGavin on a fam tour that came to the Wasaga Beach Clinic this past fall, and following this, Dr. McGavin decided to take over the Wasaga Beach practice a few months later. So I'd like to highlight for council and the public that the doctor's recruitment holds the same weight as attracting a brand new doctor to our town. His arrival fills a void that would have been left by the retiring doctor, which ensures continuity of care for all of the patients that were previously on the retiring doctor's roster. So 750 people did not lose their doctor due to Dr. McGavin coming to our community, and an additional 150 will gain one. So to answer your question, as a requirement in the financial incentive, we do ask the doctors roster predominantly Wasaga Beach patients. Therefore, the doctor taking part would have to make the effort to accept primarily Wasaga Beach residents. However, it's important to note that the doctors do need to follow the professional requirements outlined in the College of Physicians and Surgeons of Ontario policy. So it's under accepting new patients, which means that doctors need to take patients on as a first come, first serve approach. But by having their practice in the town of Wasaga Beach and advertising to Wasaga Beach patients, their roster naturally becomes predominantly Wasaga Beach, but we do check in with the doctors each year during the agreement to ensure that they are serving predominantly Wasaga Beach residents, and we typically see over 50%.
Go ahead, Deputy Mayor.
Thank you for the follow-up, Your Worship. 50% I think is great, but given that this incentive is coming from Wasaga Beach taxpayers, personally, I'd like to see that number higher. And if I could request that, or if it would be appropriate to request that when you check in each year, if you can get that number in terms of how many of our tax-paying residents are accessing that service, and bring that forward in a report to staff, I think that would be important in order to track this program and this added funds that were bolstered. I think that was required, and as we discussed at the table at that time, in order to be competitive and to have a competitive edge over other communities, and that quite likely influenced this doctor to choose our community versus another neighboring community. But because it's our taxpayers making that investment, I'd really like to, I don't mind sharing with the neighborhoods around us, but this one in particular, I'd love to sort of keep a higher percentage for us. Please and thank you.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor Snell. And now Councillor Belanger.
Thank you. Through the mayor, many of my questions were answered. I wanted to clarify the number of increased number of patients, because we could have had 750 residents lose their doctor, and instead we are getting 150 more residents that will be served. I guess because it is taking over an existing practice, the doctor doesn't have total control of how many are Wasaga Beach residents, but I would agree with the mayor that certainly in those 150 additional patients that we can control, that if there is an effort to serve Wasaga Beach residents, that would be very good. I think it's a good time to remind the public that this was a major investment where staff gave careful consideration in reporting to council what they felt was needed to recruit doctors, and this council approved a substantial amount of money. In this case, the doctor is not taking advantage of the free rent that was offered from the clinic, but also a good time to remind our residents that because of opening the clinic and the Georgian Family Healthcare team receiving a substantial grant, we are adding 3 full-time nurse practitioners, which will also be a huge boost to servicing our community. So congratulations to staff and council, and hopefully in the near future we can still get a doctor to reside within the clinic, and so we'll keep working on that. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Belanger. Any other questions or comments, Councillor Ego?
Thank you, and through you, Your Worship. Yes, on to the community, I'd like to say that sometimes you just don't need all of your ducks in a row to start a project. And in early 2019, like, we had a successful walking medical clinic, and when that was gone, this council and staff made it a huge priority to once again have such a clinic. And just 12 months ago, and through the generosity of Dr. Grayling and in partnership with the Georgian Bay Family Health Team and South Georgian Bay, Ontario, the opportunity arose to once again have a walk-in clinic in our town. So we wasted no time. Did we have all the pieces of the puzzle in place? No. Did we have a doctor? No. But that did not deter us. In September, we opened the doors with the nurse practitioners and the diabetes educators and other program services. We began slowly, but it was a start, and once again, it has proven how successful it is. So just this morning, I listened to an interview with Jane Philpott. I could not possibly list all of her credentials in the health field. However, this was really interesting. She has just published a book titled Health for All. And in the interview, she speaks to the future of town-based health centers for communities. And she really laid out a map on how these can work, some like how schools work. I won't go into it, but anyway. So I believe that we are well on our way to just that type of format on Beck Street. A medical center, and now the icing on the cake with a new doctor in town. Dr. McGavin has chosen to set up his practice here and to call Wasaga Beach home. I think this has come together because we did not wait. We knew the need was huge, and we started somewhere. So we have a very talented and dedicated staff here. We all appreciate you, and thank you for the endless work you did on this. So I believe we're on the path to a model of community health for all in Wasaga Beach. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. Any other questions or comments from members of council? I think it's important to note, first of all, welcome to Dr. McGavin, and we're happy he's here. You know, I think Wayne Gretzky said it best when he said, "You miss 100% of the shots you never take," and that's exactly, I think, what we're doing here. What we know for certain is that family doctors are becoming extinct almost. It's people, folks coming out of medical school are not wanting to get into the family doctor practice. It's a 24-hour-a-day, 7-day-a-week responsibility. There's not a great work-life balance. It's difficult and it's tough, and our doctors, work extremely hard as it is. And so, Wasaga Beach is not the only community. I don't think there's a community across the province that isn't suffering and struggling to attract doctors. And so we made a decision to be aggressive on this, and this is one of those times where we took a shot and we've scored. And I'm confident that we're going to score a couple more of these in the not too distant future. But it's important for folks to know. I had someone call me on this actually and said, this is supposed to be for new doctors, and I clarified, no, it's doctor recruitment, period. Well, it's too much money to spend to have a doctor come and take over another doctor's practice. And my response to that was really simple. Tell that to the folks who don't have a doctor, or tell that to the folks who are just at risk of losing their doctor. And so I absolutely support the program that we put in place. We absolutely stand behind our walk-in clinic. I think it's an amazing opportunity for our citizens, and this is just adding not to the clinic, but to the doctors required. And I do understand, of course, you know, our responsibility here is to the good folks of Wasaga Beach, but you know, when it comes to doctors, I know many people who live in Wasaga Beach whose doctor is in Collingwood or is in Meaford or is in Barrie. Doctors are one of those commodities today that are highly sought after and highly required, and I think if you need a family doctor, you're happy to have that doctor wherever, and so I don't struggle as much with this one. I want our citizens here to have doctors, that's for certain. And so I guess what I would say to the public who may be listening or watching this later is, if you don't have a family doctor, make sure you're keeping your eyes and your ears open and to the ground, and don't hesitate to call Town Hall on a regular basis to find out if there's any new doctors coming, so that you can be prepared to sign up as quickly as possible when that doctor should arrive. All right, we do have a motion here that the report entitled Doctor Recruitment Incentive, Dr. Jacob Jeffrey McGavin, to the council meeting of April 25th, 2024 be received, and that the mayor and clerk be authorized to execute into a doctor recruitment incentive agreement with Dr. McGavin, subject to technical review by the Economic Development Officer, legal review by the town solicitor, and financial review by the town's chief financial officer. Could I have a mover and a seconder, please? Councillor Belanger and Councillor Eagle. Madam Clerk.
Your Worship. Councillor Belanger.
Favor?
Councillor Eagle.
In favor.
Deputy Mayor Snell.
In favor?
Councillor Timms.
In favor.
Councillor White.
In favor.
Mayor Smith.
In favor?
Carries unanimously, Your Worship.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. And item number 10.11 is the memorandum of understanding between the corporation of the town of Wasaga Beach and the Wasaga Beach Public Library Board, and this has been pulled by Councillor Timms and Deputy Mayor Snell. Councillor Timms?
Thank you, Your Worship. I just want to comment that it has been a real privilege to represent council on the library board, and I've noticed firsthand that throughout the move and the opening of the new facility, the board and staff worked tirelessly to reach this point. The MOU has been a priority for both the library board, CEO Pam Powell, CAO Andrew McNeil, and our CEO of Finance Jocelyn Lee, and it is very gratifying to see it presented to council today for approval. I wish to recognize the Library Board Executive in attendance today, our Chair, Lorraine Grizik, and Vice Chair, Jody Mayhew. The board, along with the Friends of the Library, have asked me to express their appreciation to Council for attending the volunteer recognition event last week, and to you, Your Worship, for your insightful remarks about the value of the library and for the acknowledgement of the commitment and passion of past board members and the Friends who have brought us to this point today. The board wishes to assure council that they are determined to provide a secure and prosperous future for the Wasaga Beach Public Library as a thriving community hub through ongoing strategic planning and the financial stewardship that places the needs of community at its very core. Thank you, Your Worship.
Thank you, Councillor Timms, and thank you for those kind words and remarks. And now, Deputy Mayor Snell.
Thank you, Your Worship. I just wanted to make a comment. My social media feed is just filled with events that are happening at the library. And one most recently, I think just the other day I shared, was Library at Night, or I can't remember exactly what that was called, but it's going to be an after hours, close the library to the public, for the young people in our community to kick off Youth Week. And so I'm seeing as the layers unwrap of the library since its opening, the diversity of the programming that you're offering, you know, from live music to cultural stuff, moms and tots. The youth area, you can see now, is getting really a high level of engagement now that the PS stations, or whatever those video game areas are called. And I can only see that getting bigger and better and busier. And so I just want, if I can ask Pam to speak to this, in regards to the working with Parks and Recreation, because obviously, you know, our youth center does a lot of programming, and we've got a lot of great drop-in stuff and moms and tots and stuff at the Recplex. What sort of planning is happening between the two areas to ensure that, you know, all demographics are being served, for one, and also, too, that there's not duplication? If you wouldn't mind, please.
Through the chair. Thank you for that comment. I just want the public and members of council to know that the library has a great working relationship with the Recreation Department, and that my staff are always in touch with the Recreation Department as well as the Events Department to determine next steps forward. So we do communicate frequently. We have meetings frequently and individual discussions frequently about what's in the works and what's planning. And so we do our best not to duplicate any kind of programming, and certainly we do back off and try and determine whose lane is it so that we stick with what our particular expertise is. So we are all working together, and I think when I look around the communities in Simcoe County, Wasaga Beach really has some of the best programming available, and I think that's due to my staff as well as the recreation events teams. There's a lot on offer for this community, and we're all working together to provide more and more diverse offerings.
Go ahead, Deputy Mayor Snell.
Thank you, Your Worship. And I can't agree with you more. I think that our community has not only phenomenal programming to keep our families active and busy, all of our residents, but we have phenomenal facilities. You know, there are a lot of communities that don't have facilities like we do. So I really celebrate that. And I also just want to acknowledge the marketing and branding that your team is doing. I'm loving the digital stuff that I'm seeing. The communication is really forthcoming when, you know, for example, when the library was going to be closed and for the celebratory event the other day, and sad face emoji on your marketing piece. It's just really creative and interactive, and so congratulations. I just love good, clean marketing. Thank you.
I love the theatrics. It's sad face emoji. Any other questions or comments? It's great to see this MOU come forward. I know it's taken a lot of effort on behalf of the library board, on behalf of staff, to get this to a point where it is absolutely win-win. And that's what we always need to thrive for, and that's to have a win-win situation. And so it's exciting. It's finally here, and I'm sure Pam will now have some more time in her life that she'll be able to do some other things, as will our board members and staff here at the town as well. So this is great to see. So we do have a recommended motion that the report titled Memorandum of Understanding between the Corporation of the Town of Wasaga Beach and the Wasaga Beach Public Library Board to the council meeting of April 25th, 2024 be received, and that council approve the Memorandum of Understanding terms as presented in Appendix A, and that council authorize the town CAO to execute the Memorandum of Understanding with the Wasaga Beach Public Library Board. Any other questions or comments? Seeing none, could I have a mover and a seconder, please? Deputy Mayor Snell and Councillor Timms, and Madam Clerk, call the vote, please.
Thank you, Your Worship. Councillor Blanchet.
In favor?
Councillor Ego.
In favor?
Deputy Mayor Snell.
In favor?
Councillor Timms.
In favor?
Councillor White.
In favor.
Mayor Smith.
In favor?
Passes unanimously.
Thank you very much, Madam Clerk. And moving on now to item number 14, recommendations arising from boards and committees. And there are no recommendations here. Any questions or comments? All right, moving on to council requested staff reports. Council, you've seen the list. Any questions or comments on that? Seeing none, and moving on to item number 16, notices of motion. And I don't believe we have any notices of motion at this time. So moving on to item number 17 is closed session, and the recommendation is that pursuant to the Municipal Act 2001 as amended, next portion of the date council meeting will move into closed session to consider the following matters. 17.1.1, commercial business proposal in accordance with Section 239(2)I, commercial information supplied in confidence to the municipality, which if disclosed could reasonably be expected to prejudice significantly the competitive position or interfere significantly with the contractual or other negotiations. And 17.1.2, fire department negotiations in accordance with Section 239(2)D, labor relations or employee negotiations. Questions or comments? Seeing none, could I have a mover and a seconder for this, please? Councillor White and Councillor Belanger, all in favor? That motion carries unanimously. And we'll now move into closed session.
Through your worship, we're live.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Clerk, and welcome back, everybody. We're just coming out of closed session where we had two items that we discussed, and I'll look to our clerk for a rise and report. Madam Clerk?
Thank you, Your Worship. On April 25th, 2024, Council entered closed session to discuss the following matters. Item 17.1.1, a commercial business proposal. As a result of that discussion, there is nothing further to report. Council also discussed item 17.1.2, Fire Department negotiations. As a result of that discussion, the following motions are before Council for consideration. That Council authorize the Director of Human Resources and the Fire Chief to proceed with the establishment of an updated collective agreement based on the terms contained within the agreed memorandum of settlement with the Wasaga Beach Professional Firefighters Association. That Council approve an approximate $99,500 variance related to firefighter 2024 wages and benefits to be funded through in-year surplus if available or general reserves if required. And that the mayor and clerk be authorized to execute a collective agreement with the Wasaga Beach Professional Firefighters Association.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Members of council, you've heard the question. Could I have a mover and a seconder for this, please? Moved by Councillor Eagle, seconded by Councillor Timms. All in favor? That motion carries unanimous, Madam Clerk. All right, we're now moving on to bylaws, which is number 18 on the agenda. Recommended motion is that the bylaws 2024-27 and 2024-28 be received and to be deemed and read a first, second, and third time, passed and numbered this 25th day of April 2024. Any questions or comments? Seeing none, could I have a mover and a seconder, please? Moved by Councillor White, seconded by Councillor Eagle. All in favor? That motion carries unanimously. And this meeting is adjourned. Have a good afternoon.